Hey everyone, it's Moo-hyun Kevin here, coming to you from my Jana and Kevin channel, and just going to make a video with regards to the current political situation here in Northeast Asia. Now, some people have been asking me my thoughts on what's been going on the last few days with North Korea. Now, for those of you who don't know, today's the 27th of May 2009. 2 days ago on the 25th, North Korea did a very unexpected nuclear test. It's the second one. The first one they did was in 2006. It was kind of a dismal failure for them. This one they did around lunchtime on Monday, and this one was actually, well, as far as I'm sure the North Korean regime considers, quite a success. The bomb went off, underground nuclear test. It was like a 4.5 or 4.6 on the Richter scale, and they say that the bomb itself was probably about the size of the equivalent of that fell on Nagasaki during the Second World War. Now, what do I think of this? Well, honestly, I don't really care too much. I'm not worried at all. If you live in America or Canada, or anywhere else in the Western world, everything you're hearing in the news is probably lots of doom and gloom, very kind of fear-laden, panic-filled news reports. And I don't know, I guess I've been just living in Asia long enough, Northeast Asia, that it's like, here we go again. It's just saber rattling. That's all I consider it. Just saber rattling. It's like a petulant kindergarten child who's not getting enough attention, and they want to break something. So the teacher will look at them. Look at me! Look at me! Look at me! It seems that every time that the world seems to forget about North Korea, or they kind of fall out of the news and no one's paying attention, they do something really provocative. Whether it's a nuclear test, yammering on about the nuclear program, firing rockets, that kind of thing. I lived for 2 years in a city that was really close to the demilitarized zone in South Korea. Probably about 30 kilometers south of the DMZ. And I remember when I first moved to Korea, I was a little edgy about this stuff, and most of the foreigners who lived in my city were. When there was, we'd hear something. I can remember my first year there was some kind of naval engagement that happened between a South Korean patrol boat and a North Korean patrol boat, and they had a firefight. And I think the way it worked, I think actually several South Korean soldiers or sailors were killed in this exchange. And I was like, holy shit, there's some scary stuff going on here. But honestly, I'd ask my Korean coworkers, Korean friends about it. They're like, it sucks that happened, it's sad, but no one really cared per se. No one was worried. It's just like, here we go again. They've been living with this kind of stuff for so long, a generation of there being clashes along the DMZ, firefights, incidents, saber rattling on both sides, most of it coming from the north. That people in South Korea, honestly, it doesn't bother them so much. And of course, they're pissed off, they're angry. You could see that on the newscasts. There were, a group of people demonstrating in Seoul. They're not happy about it. One of the key things of President Kim Dae-jung, who was the Nobel laureate president of South Korea in the 1990s, was the Sunshine Policy, and that was all about unifying Korea. And if you talk to any South Korean, one of the things that they really hope for in the future is the unification, or the reunification of North and South Korea. Now, they see, I think basically, of course I'm not Korean, but these are my opinions, I think a lot of people just see Kim Jong-il as kind of just messing shit up, basically. Why are they going on and doing this kind of thing? Well, basically they're looking for money, they're looking for handouts. It's a poor country, desperately poor. The only money that there is comes through black market acts, selling arms, the heroin trade. And all that money goes to party officials, it goes to the military. The people of North Korea, and I feel really bad for them, are just desperately poor and living in just horrible, horrible conditions. Now, someone asked me, how do the Japanese feel about this? Well, they're incredibly unhappy, they're pissed off. I mean, come on. They're basically the closest enemy to North Korea. They showed a few months ago that the missiles can't hit here. So they're not happy. People in Japan feel very uneasy about it, and it's all over the news now. Which actually, it's kind of, in a weird way, refreshing that there's nothing about swine flu on the news right now. But a lot of this hatred and animosity here in Japan towards North Korea has to do with, in the 1970s and 80s, the kidnappings of Japanese nationals. Basically what would happen is the North Koreans were looking for Japanese nationals to help with their spy program, to teach its spies how to speak Japanese properly, to about life in Japan. So what they would do is basically submarines would pop up along the coast of Japan, along beaches and different areas, coastal areas, and you know, North Korean commandos would pop out and scoop up and kidnap Japanese nationals and take them back to North Korea. And a lot of them never been heard of again. So that's a real thorn in the side of Japanese that they don't forget, and you know, people are pissed off about that. So basically, to wrap all this up, those are kind of my views on what's going on. Basically, it's just saber rattling. That's all it is. Yeah, it sucks that someone's testing nuclear weapons, especially when they're a real loose cannon. People refer to the North Korean regime as a wily fox, and in a way they are. But I think they're also very much so like a wild animal backed into a corner. They've got nowhere to go. They've got no friends, they've got no support, they've got no money, an ideology that doesn't work. So what's going to happen? I don't know. I think more saber rattling, but honestly, I'm not worried about it. Yeah, so there you go. So for those of you who are interested in my opinion on what's happening with the North Korean nuclear tests and whatnot, there you go. And oh yeah, I was really saddened and surprised by the news on the weekend of former President Moo-hyun committing suicide. That was really quite sad. Unexpected. I know he was being investigated for corruption and all, but again, that was... I remember I was on break from a Korean class one day, sitting outside, watching on TV, when all the guys were beating the shit out of each other in the South Korean parliament trying to impeach him. And I remember actually going to the candlelight protests in South Korea when the people of Korea were trying to keep him in office, which they did. So, my opinion, and there you go. Thanks for watching. Take care, and all of you, have a good day.